typically stovepiped government services that if a citizen has a number of needs, maybe health, it may be social security type requirements, it may be some other government assistance, and they may pay tax. The problem is that in the past the citizen has been required to do all of that integration. Now, at a high level policy level, there is a movement in governments in general to break down those stovepipes. There are some significant challenges for IT in dealing with this, because traditionally IT has been following those stovepipes. So I develop a system to deliver a particular activity, and that's all I do, and that's my boundary. And the problem is that long term we need to start to break down those boundaries and look at life events and activities that are happening within the time frame of the citizen, and in the time frames the citizen needs those answers. So from within government, breaking down those stovepipes has a profound effect on what's happening within IT. For instance, shared services has now become a major area of activity within IT. That means that the government agency who is tasked with developing a certain service may not in fact need to be the agency that has the IT capability. You may in fact have shared services between the agencies, and we're seeing that as something which is not just an idea which is being trialled and off to the side, but is a core capability across government. We're also really seeing that within government that citizens are now looking to government to be far more open in terms of the information and the services that they provide. So in the general community, we talk of Web 2.0. In government, it's been called Government 2.0, but there is a fundamental difference between the private sector view of it and the public sector. And the big difference is that governments at one level are accountable for private information of citizens, and it's just not appropriate for governments just to share information just willy-nilly. So there is a certain reticence among governments. And of course our political leaders within government are elected from time to time, and having information coming out from the public sector about government performance is probably in some ways the scariest thing that could ever happen to government. So on one hand we have a need to develop client services and develop them better, but on the other hand this is a fundamental shift in the way that we deliver IT systems to support government. Delivering services over the web is a clear trend that we're seeing specifically in Australia. In my own backyard, we're seeing that surveys of citizens is showing that face-to-face contact with government representatives for the services they deliver are dropping off dramatically. People don't want to see the face of government as a human being anymore. What they want to be able to do is transact over the net, and numbers are rising dramatically in preferences for dealing over the internet. Now that means that the sorts of things that we need, the way we need to develop our systems is changing dramatically with that. So there are some consequential changes that we'll see as a trend that will continue to be there in government as a result of that. Some of those are cloud computing. Now, various governments, I note the UK government themselves, have a clear cloud strategy that they put out in their recent strategic plan. Within Australia, for instance, we haven't really gone that far and setting particular deadlines and boundaries for cloud. But some of the other things that are moving us there are clearly pushing us towards a cloud service delivery. So I would say that over time, cloud is an inevitability for government. However, how we get there is, I think, the area of discussion at the moment. I suspect that we should not be seeing cloud as an outcome in its own right. The outcome is to provide better online services to citizens, And if cloud is the vehicle for delivering it, and I believe it will be one of them, then it should be somewhere that we focus. But we should be very careful within IT not to just focus on the delivery mechanism. Cloud is a delivery mechanism. It is an IT activity. It is not something that, if citizens can get their answer about the right service from government in the right time, in the way that they want it, then they will be happy with the service from government. Whether it's delivered as a click charge service within government or not, that's for the technology people to deliver. So I think we need to be very careful not to just market cloud as the outcome for solving all problems. I think that something that will be a long-term direction in government that is not getting any discussion really right now is the co-delivery of services. And that means that government itself may not be the only deliverer of government services. We may see the private sector and not-for-profit sectors as being better placed to be the frontline deliverers of government services in some areas. So, for instance, the not-for-profit areas, the people that provide volunteer services and the like, they are far closer to people in need. And it could very well be that government over time may provide small applets of cloud services to support these sort of things. I could imagine in years to come that there could be small applications delivered for iPhones to allow people to recommend people for government services, to collect information at source and to pass that on to government as need be. It provides better services for the citizen, and it provides a faster path for government without having to deliver monolithic, difficult services. Things don't have to be big to be better. And government doesn't always have to be in the driving seat. Sometimes it's better to have somebody else doing the driving and having government sitting there in the background putting the right governance in place and the right process. But sometimes closeness to citizens is better delivered by people who are close to citizens, not those who think that they are.